All right, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh Round 12. I'm your host, David Yrigoyen. Go by MMJ underscore David on social media and YouTube. You can find me at davidyrigoyen.com. We are sponsored by shopcleanhemp.com, Nana's Rub, and Natural Healing Care Center. Tonight, we're going to have with us Dr. Brown, who I've worked with for over 10 years now, and I'm excited to share some of her knowledge and experience. I'm going to give my disclaimer really quick. As always, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm a cannabis consultant, a cannabis coach, and a healthcare enthusiast that is focused on alternative remedies for my healing journey. So anything I share with you, as I always say, is coming straight from research from people like Dr. Brown. So you'll be able to hear some stuff from an actual physician and not just me. So without further ado, here is Dr. Brown. Say hi, Dr. Brown.
Hello there, everyone. I am so excited to be here. And I just enjoy working with you, David.
I appreciate that.
And you are right. Literally, you know what? Honestly, it'll be 10 years. Yeah, almost 10 years, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, we
You're
met shortly after Natural Healing opened. So I remember Dr. Was it Dr. May introduced us? Yeah, Dr.
He
May.
is. Yeah, one of my colleagues, definitely.
Yeah, and as always, Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh, smoke them if you got them. I'll be partaking, even though Dr. Brown is keeping the professional look going.
Yes, that is true.
But what got you into naturopathic medicine, Dr. Brown? What led you down that direction? How were you even introduced to all this?
Literally, I stumbled upon naturopathic medicine. Ever since I was 5, I told my mother I'm going to be a doctor, pediatrician. And as soon as I told her that, she literally ran with it. And that she set me up in all the different programs, all the way up through high school, doing internships. And she truly prepared and supported me for that. So when I went to college, just going through the whole pre-med track, I got a little discouraged due to there was an incident between me and a TA who kind of basically was saying that I wasn't fit to be a doctor. And she was basically saying that I wasn't smart enough. And so coming from Chicago, it's pretty diverse. And so being in Champaign-Urbana, it's a little less. And so I was a little discouraged. And so I just said, if she doesn't think I can do it, I wonder what the other current doctors think, and would they accept me as being a physician? And so with that, I just stopped, completely just stopped going to school. I literally had six classes to graduate. And so went to Chicago, went back home, had an amazing time, and had a little too much fun in my hometown. But I decided, I think, it was my son was on his way. And no, you know what? I'm sorry. This was after Joshua was born. I just said, I got to do something. I don't know what. I was into herbs. I was into natural approaches. I couldn't stand taking any medication, pills, any of that. And so I just said, I have to find a way to still help others and give back and figure out how to impact their lives. And so I went to school for massage, met an amazing teachers, several of them, and I almost went the chiropractor track. However, I found out about naturopathic medicine, and I said, what is this? I'd never heard of it. And I knew that there were only a few places, a few states, and maybe two in Canada at the time. It was like six total. And so when I read it and I looked at how the naturopathic six principles and how it supports the body's ability to heal itself, I said, wow, that's me. And so from there, came out to Arizona and didn't look back. Like literally, they accepted me on like a student visitation weekend. And they were honestly trying to get me in August because I remember it was actually during the time of Katrina. I was in Arizona. And so they wanted me to start. And I said, no, I have to wait. I have a son. I got to get things together. And so from there, it's been just like the aha moment. And I truly enjoy what I do and working and helping others reach their health goals.
I've seen you help so many people, and we get that same response from them, that they can feel the genuine care coming from you and the sincerity and the knowledge as well. How long have you been practicing now?
I've been practicing since 2011 in the fall. I waited a little bit after graduation, graduated 2010. Those tests were hardcore.
Yeah,
But
imagine.
yeah, so I
And
started
which,
out in more primary care initially, and I thought I was going to do pediatrics, but it was ironic that I was doing more geriatrics. And so that led on to pain management because a lot of the patients were in pain and they were on all these pain meds, the opiates, and I was trying to, inform them about other options. And so that's when Dr. May, I'm sorry, were you going to ask me something?
no, 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 keep going.
Okay. That's when Dr. May um, just sent me, I think it was a message like on Facebook. We would check in from time to time. And she said, you should take a look, at doing medical marijuana certifications. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, no, from Chicago. I'm like, wait, I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm like, is it really legal or whatever? And she actually referred me to another center. Initially, I worked there for a little while, and then that's when I met you in 2013. And
Yeah.
so I
We'll
haven't
show love
turned.
to tumbleweeds. We're not, there's no hate in our game. So, you work with tumbleweeds. Actually, us and tumbleweeds were and Dr. Heather Moroso were one of the first few people actually doing medical marijuana certifications. And it wasn't us, it was, and tumbleweeds, it was actually, Dr. May, you, Dr. Brown, Dr. Johnson, Dr.
Mhm.
Moroso. I think there was a few other ones, but every clinic that started off initially were pretty much working with you doctors that were the pioneers in it. The early ones that stepped up in Tucson and said, we want to help people. I know in Phoenix there was a few, and they,
Yeah,
everyone did things a little different, but down here, and that's what I respected working with you and Dr. May and Dr. Johnson, is that you all were by the book. And I love that because early on, there were reporters that came in, there
right.
were undercover cops that came in, federal agents that came in. We saw all of that. We had people come in with cameras, hidden cameras, trying to record the process to see how easy it was, if it was easy. And it wasn't.
Hmm.
There was a process. You had to have medical records.
Definitely.
You still need medical records. You have to qualify. You have to have a qualifying condition, especially when it came to minors. I'll never forget a patient's mother coming after us because he was an adult over 18, ended up getting his medical marijuana card. She was so upset because of their family history of drug abuse and addiction and associating this with that, and started asking me all these questions and harassing me. I was like, first of all, if your son has been here, I can't give you any information. Like, I don't even know if he's
Correct.
been
HIPAA.
here. Oh, he's been there, this and this and this and this. I'm like, and then she tried getting reporters after us and the cops. And she sent me emails from reporters, and they're like, well, did he have medical records? Well, yeah, he has a bad knee, blah, blah, blah. what did they do wrong? So we were under scrutiny, investigation,
Mm-hmm.
um, constant surveillance. So that's why it was like, we didn't, we did everything by the book, and that's what I respected working with you guys. And that's why all
Definitely.
the other centers only had access to doctors from a small Rolodex. So I have no problem giving love out to Tumbleweeds and
Oh, of
Shop
course.
420 and them, because we were the early sellers, and that's why we're still here right now. People have come and gone, especially since 2019. Things have changed drastically in our industry. So the ones that are still doing it, man, more love and power to you. Like, I hope you keep going. Hopefully this bill changes soon, where the prices come down for the cards, so the state's not making
Yes.
so much money off of it,
Yes.
and we're actually able to get more people in the program again. I think
That
Arizona's lost
actually
about,
need it.
yeah, I think we've lost about 150,000 patients to Prop 207, but they'll start to see the difference with accessibility, quality, um, pricing. So we'll see that. But the question I was going to ask you, what was that
Mhm.
naturopathic school you went to again?
Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine, but they just recently, and I'm terrible because it's like Sonoran something. I'm like, I don't know,
Oh
but
man,
they changed last year, so
that's
I
it's
know
a common.
SCM for
It's,
sure.
yeah, that's common. It's popular. There's only think two or three on the West Coast that are, you know, recognizable.
Bastyr,
Yeah.
it's SCNM, and then it's a national, but I believe National changed their name or altered it a little bit, something like that.
Yeah. So, that's that for naturopathic medicine. That's, a prestigious school. It's,
Definitely,
yeah.
100%.
So, and
Yes,
that's what
it was
people have.
rigorous too.
Everyone that's
Definitely.
come out from that school that I've met, and your colleagues that we've all worked with, Dr. Wojtovich, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson, Dr. May, and yourself, Dr. Brown, man, you guys have all helped people in so many different ways. That's the funny thing about the medical marijuana program is most patients only saw us once a year up until 2019, when it's biannually.
Right.
So everyone saw us once a year, but these patients would call us. I need to talk to my doctor. My doctor. I'm like, well,
I
first of all,
know.
these people have only spent 30 minutes with you max in 1 year, and but they helped me so much, more than any medical doctor has helped them,
Mm-hmm.
and just the comfort and
Yeah.
listening, and being tentative, and then having the recommendations. And I loved how you guys all had your different style of medicine,
Correct.
and we knew who to go to for different things, because we all know Dr. May, just she's like the earth. She's just
Oh, big
all this
time.
stuff. And then, you and Dr. Johnson have always had your specialties as well. So that's why when people would call, we're like, oh, well, we know who to refer you to. And that's why I'm so happy to see your practice picking up, and, your private practice after this long, and, doing things, and branching out into other avenues of naturopathic medicine. We had Dr. Johnson on a while back, and she's, on a similar journey, how cannabis has led to what direction you want to focus on, and give you more understanding of how plants work with people, because it is an introduction to naturopathic medicine
Definitely.
and
Mm-hmm.
nature, alternative healing. um so you answered my question I was going to ask about being in the MMJ industry. So it's been about 12 years, about as long as me. What has interested you most about working with cannabis as an alternative for pain therapy?
Honestly, I was 100% shocked because I just the stigma, unfortunately, that it has had, and I was just shocked. Like I was saying, when Dr. May had mentioned, what did I think about doing the certifications? It was almost like a divine alignment or assignment, in that everyone that I saw that day was in tears, saying how cannabis, from babies to having 50 to 100 seizures a day, like mini seizures, to um, like elderly, or even middle age with MS, or osteorheumatoid arthritis. And there's many other ailments that cannabis can address, even the veterans with, PTSD and their other concerns. And so what I found most interesting was that they all basically had the same story, like that it literally changed their life. Like I've had patients literally crying in office, saying how if it wasn't for cannabis, they don't know, they would have been gone. They could have died, or they may have harmed themselves. And so that really, and especially in being in the Tucson area with tumbleweeds and natural healing, I saw that, and I feel like there were more who were not ashamed or not worried about the stigmas in that Tucson. It's almost like a community of people, and it was basically like their lifestyle. Like they didn't want to use what was just the standard. They wanted to learn more. They wanted to even learn more about naturopathic medicine. And so that was the one thing that I loved at working in Tucson, is that I got to meet people from all walks of life, ethnicities, and ages. And so
that's what we forgot to mention, that all of our patients knew and that work with Dr. Brown, but we didn't tell you all that Dr. Brown is not even a resident of Tucson. She would commute down almost 5 days a week. When her babies were being born, we were even watching them at the office. We're like, bring them down, let's
I'm like tumbleweeds too. Yeah, I brought babies to tumbleweeds and natural healing for sure. They looked out too.
We're all family, and that's what I mean. That's why it's a community thing, and that's why ever since this industry started, I never saw anyone as a competition, because I'm like, well, we're all helping people. So as long as they're helping people, we're helping people. Other people are helping people. There's so many people to help. Like, who cares? We're not competing with each other, but everyone else sees everything as competition. What is the one story that when people ask you about this industry that it just brought complete euphoria, filled you with joy because you saw people's life changing? What's that one experience you had where that patient came in and they're like, this has changed my life because I was on this, or this was my regimen, this was my routine? I shared a while back about a gentleman that was on morphine for 16 years that was able to get off of it with cannabis and was able to start working outside again, get mobility back, movement, because the morphine just left him in like a catatonic state on his couch, always just couch locked, couldn't do anything. What was still in pain, the irony of it. But cannabis gave him his life back. And, that and a few other stories, those are the reason why, I do what I do. What is that? What's your story? Where's, that patient that came in and you just felt chills through your whole body because you're like, wow, this really is helping people?
Well, there's so many. I'm just trying to think between the both of the clinics. Wow. I mean, I'm a mom, so I have a soft spot for the little ones, and also for the elderly, and that it really was just mind blowing to know that a baby, like a little one, was barely under a year, and this was his or her life. I can't remember if it was boy or girl, but seizures, multiple. Like, I think the mom had reported like 50 sometimes, it was just unbelievable. And to see the faces, of the parents, and they just didn't know what to do. They just were asking me, like, what could they do? And they just said, nothing works. They They've been to every doctor, every specialist, flown around the world, and they just wanted their child to have a quote unquote normal life, as normal as it could be. And it was even when I think it was a little one. The mom was just saying, if we could just decrease the seizures. And so the patient, I remember, I think it I saw more little ones that were like renewals. And so I was able to, when it came time to renewal, I would always check in because unfortunately there's not many clinical studies that are out there well, at that time. I think they're a little more progressive these days, in that it wasn't much out there to say like, okay, cannabis helped me with this. It helped me with that. And so I was able to document that she said that it significantly reduced the seizures of her, I can't remember, boy or girl, her baby. And so the parents, and it's almost like the people who are the patients who are going through, if they're young, it's almost like they just think this is normal. They don't even know it's really that they're different until they find out like their friends don't have seizures. Their friends don't go through this. And so the families also were like thanking me and just was thanking me for even stepping up and even taking this on, because they just said without doctors who were willing to learn more and do the research, that we could be in a situation where it would not be as progressive as it is currently today. We still have a lot of ways to go, but there's no way they can imagine how their lives would be without it. And so it was the families that were in tears as well. And that also hurt me because as a mother, I lost my first son. And so I delivered a stillborn. I never found out like what happened. And so I know what it feels to lose a child and the fear of, not being able to help your existing, children. And so that was very near and dear to me because I just felt like it's a little guy or a little girl. They deserve a life, So those are the most impactful were the children and the babies that definitely came in.
Definitely. Sure. That just gave me chills. I was like, I know those experiences. I've met those parents with you, and heard those stories. And I was sharing a few weeks back on one of the episodes about CBD helping with seizures, and showing people the little kids having the oil rubbed on their feet, not even consuming it orally, just rubbing it on their feet, subsiding the seizure instantly. And Epidiolex being FDA approved, legally prescribed, that fact alone shows the benefit of it for seizures. And, and I'm promoting that at all, which everyone knows my stance on that. I can't stand that shit, but you can get the same results from natural, more homemade ways opposed to that pharmaceutical grade stuff. So, but we've seen it, the other story that is touching that we both shared together that I haven't shared with these people yet is, our community yet, is the gentleman that had the seizure in our office. They did not even know he had seizures. Yeah, no one even know. He was there for a renewal for something completely different. Had his second seizure his whole life in our office.
I'm so
we had to call 911, and it was a whole experience. And luckily, we had doctors at the office, and
I was in
first aid trained. Yeah, you were actually one that was consulting him at the time, and that's like, you guys need to come in here. And one of my brother, our staff member at the time, was first aid trained and massage therapist, and he knew exactly what to do right away. And I just listened to whatever they were telling me, and that was wild. But years later, like you said, there's not enough studies, but we saw him
Correct.
progress because he went the alternative route. He went
Mm-hmm.
and tried doing pharmaceutical to please friends and family. Then he found out, no, this stuff is debilitating me. Started using the more, natural approach, went with cannabis,
Mm-hmm.
started subsiding seizures. We've had people come in with the grand mal seizures that were having 50 a day, end up subsiding to the point where cannabis is their main choice of medicine. Even the neurologist sent them to us to get their card because they saw the benefit of cannabis over the other stuff they tried that was causing way more harm to their body and their cells and their brain. So, we've seen that. So, it's great you shared that story because, man,
Yeah.
like I said, I felt that through my heart. I was like, wow, I just know. I know that we've had the patients come in who their children are lacking communicative and motor
Definitely.
skills, come
Correct.
in and start to develop them after about a year of using just CBD alone, just CBD. They start to develop motor skills and communication skills. They're not speaking full words, but they're actually communicating in ways they had never done before. And these
Correct.
studies are out there now, proven. Ours are anecdotal. We've only seen it from our experience. We
Yes.
haven't seen it. Now the research is supporting it, but we already knew all this. We already know from
Correct.
our experience. Um, so man,
And
that's
I
great.
love the support of, honestly, Tucson physicians, because we received referrals from pretty much every specialty.
Yeah.
And between the two clinics, like literally, they sent us there. And it's unfortunate that a lot of the patients that we end up with, they're like, we tried everything. We're at the end of our road. What if it was what if they could come first as opposed to, going or feeling like they have to go, a certain route. If that was the one frustration that I saw. And that, I totally respect allopathic medicine as much as I do, as far as its purposes. However, the patients, what they would do is they would come to us when they were like, this is my last straw. And so my thing is, I would always say, what if they could have come in earlier, because they would have had relief earlier. So that was the one thing. And working together was the key in that. I was able to work with the other doctors, and that when we saw them, they would monitor the patient, after they received their medical marijuana card. So that was the cool thing.
I shared that before too, how, sometimes we saw people that doctors wrote them off already and gave them an expiration date. And 4 years later, 5 years plus, they're still around, they still, things change.
I think it's just the, maybe like just the lack of knowledge because as a physician, there's so many aspects of medicine. There's no way you're going to know everything. And so if you're not doing the research to find out more, or you're, just sticking to, that's the one thing I like about naturopathic medicine, is that it is holistic. We look at the whole body when we're doing therapies. And so I'm open to find out more, even if it's something I haven't even heard of from a patient. I'm like, whoa, I'll have to look that up. And so it might just be that it's just the lack of knowledge, not the willingness on their part. But I think it's just, they just don't know until the patient comes back, and then they're decreasing their medications and they're like, oh gosh. And so I love the fact that we can work together, and that they can come to us, or they can come to those centers, to get the medical marijuana. And then they can go back to their doctors and share their experience, because that's how you build a community. Because truly, it's really truly about helping the patient, what's in the best interest of the patient.
That's the Hippocratic oath that every
Exactly.
medical practitioner has taken. So, that, yeah, exactly. They got to do what's in the best interest of the patient. And if it's working with other practitioners outside their realm of knowledge, that's what
That's
you
where
should
you
be
send
doing.
referrals. We've all been
Yeah.
taught that. Just
Oh,
refer,
man.
and then, you
Some of
find
those doctors got that ego. I used to work with them, and yeah, if you didn't call them doctor something, they would get upset. It's like, yo, man, like, we get it. You put in the work, but it's, we're all equal. We're all equal. Um,
definitely. So I'm
so
supporting the community aspect of us working together for the best
that's
interest.
great. Heck yeah, Dr. Brown. What's your main focus right now as a naturopath, along with cannabis? Because I know in both our practices, we've seen people gear more towards recreational. They still want knowledge, but not so many people are getting the card right now. So currently, I know that we're all finding other ways to help people. What other practices are therapies or remedies or I guess, yeah, practices have you instilled in your practice?
Yeah, I'm like, honestly, I think, because I heard you say something, I want to just touch on that real quick. I believe that, I don't know if it's that the individuals are necessarily just going recreational. I think it's just there's um, there's still a lack or of information or gray space, and so I would love if there was uh, something set in that we can get more information out to just lay people, and as well as physicians, because the more that we talk about cannabis, the more we can learn about the benefits. And if you're on medications, the doctors can monitor their patients while they're taking cannabis. And so there's a great need in from my standpoint. What I'm still seeing is that the education piece has not been addressed as thoroughly.
Yeah.
And that most people are thinking like, oh, they just want to do it recreational. It's just they don't know where to go to get the info, to learn more about how they can do just as simple as what you were talking about, how you may make your own medicine.
Yeah.
And so those patients can also make their own medicine with the proper guidance if there was something in place, because I just feel like cannabis education is not as well versed by most. So
it's not a priority right now. Everyone thinks that it's just a recreational drug when it's
right.
not. It's medicine. People using it recreationally are self-medicating. They're using it for
Correct.
one reason or another, because people that don't need it don't use it. And we know plenty of people like that.
That's true.
They don't get called towards it. There's no need for it. They say, I feel like this without it, so I don't need it, or I'm not having these kind of issues. But on the other hand, now with us being able to utilize cannabis in different ways and different cannabinoids, there might be for everybody here soon, because we all do have an endocannabinoid system, and that endocannabinoid system is activated with phytocannabinoids. So, it's not like it isn't in our DNA. So I still think it's for everybody, but in different ways. I've have personal friends right now going through different experiences and seeing the CBG help some of them, seeing the CBN help some of them, with sleep, seeing the CBD, which we already knew about, the THC, the THCA, CBGA, like all these people have their medicine they're finding, and it's helping them in different ways. And that's not with just smoking the herb, that's using it in different different
different forms,
methods. Yeah,
and
different
yeah.
forms. Um,
And
what
so that's how I got. I know you asked me about what I was doing. I've still been focusing on just the pain management. That's how I ended up even in the cannabis industry, and then still because I was doing acupuncture. And so what I'm finding is that there's still a significant amount of people who are in pain, whether it be physical, mental, and emotional. And so I chose to dive even deeper into that. And so what I did last year, because you joined me, I developed just a health and wellness platform because I saw that there was a need for just a place for information. I'm sorry. There was a need for a place for information that people are hungry for knowledge, and they don't know where to go to. So they just try and search anywhere to figure it out. And so with that platform, my goal was to bring awareness to health and wellness, educate those in different aspects and therapies of health and wellness as a profession, and then also connect them with the experts. And so just through my experience alone, being the host for the summit, I learned so much just from the experts myself as far as just options when I think of patients that I'm working with. And it was just an amazing experience to just I had 3 and they were global. Like I met experts from around the globe, and I had them and they joined me, and we were all on the same page. Our goal was to basically what's in the best interest of the patient, or client for some of them who weren't physicians. And so that's what I love about just patient education. And so I just feel like across the board, even in reference to cannabis and even other therapies, the lack of information is that piece that I'm addressing. And so I just found that even if we have the tools, because we do have the tools for the most part, it's just, are we using them? Are we aware? And how we're using them? And so another aspect that I saw in seeing patients is that if they don't have that mental component in place where they are managing appropriately as far as their mental emotional status, that even when they have the tools, are they really doing what they're supposed to, because there's a blockage. Yeah. And so I went through like my own personal journey, and that's what I'm on right now, is doing a personal journey, because I just decided if I'm diving deep with my patients, I want to dive deep with myself, because I want to live my best self. I want to live my best life. I want to be my truth and be my authentic self. And so now I'm doing more health coaching, life coaching, and just encouraging individuals to seek within themselves of who they really are, and being okay with who they are and how they show up, and not being worried about those who don't approve or those who, don't want to interact, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You still going to be David. I'm still going to be Aiyana, whether we interact or not. And my thing is, why am I concerned about what you think when your thoughts of me are not irrelevant? It's about me. It's from within. Yeah. So I'm just really trying to push that component, especially even with children, because I feel like there's a lot of, me included, there's a lot of broken adults. And so, with that, why not try and connect with them when they're younger? If you can get access to the families and work on certain things like how to deal with certain emotions, communication, and just being able to be okay with being you, like that should be almost like the first things that we learn, as children. But it's not always designed like that, in that there's a way that we're supposed to be. And I'm even finding out, raising my second set of children, like I can see the difference in how I raised my first. And so just me going through my own journey, and just all that stuff we went through 2020, I learned that children don't usually get to have a voice. And so I'm promoting for children to have a voice because I really want to know what they're thinking and how they're perceiving things, because a lot of these experiences that they go through, they carry that throughout life. And they still hold on to what they've learned as a kid, and they just become an adult, but they're still in that kid mentality. And so if we can just, start asking questions, just communicating and being allowed to communicate without the whole caring. Not like you're going to offend someone, but I feel like we should be able to be real with each other and truthfully be real with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, through this whole experience, I'm really finding out, like, oh gosh, self-care, everything starts with us.
Crucial.
If we don't have ourselves together and we are not comfortable and truly love ourselves, we're not worth anything to anyone else. And my goal is to impact as many lives as I can across the globe in a positive manner. So
empowering, enlightening, and encouraging.
Definitely. Yeah.
I feel that right there. And you're right. The children, they take on so much of this trauma and energy and our own baggage as a society without even having any input in it. It's like they're just receiving this stuff as a child, and then take years to heal through this. And everyone I've worked with in that energetic setting, it's always reflecting back to your childhood and trying to find out the moment of when some of this trauma has happened. And you got to do some deep digging, because you may not even be conscious of it. Like, oh wow, that's why I have these triggers, or that's why this comes up, or that's why. And then you break that cycle. And it's good that more people are being conscious of that, rather than lashing out at each other and keeping this stuff going, because it has to stop somewhere. And I feel like this day and age, people looking for outside support, they're looking for something more natural. And it's great that you're making yourself available for people like that, and creating a space and a platform for people. Yeah, that's it was great to be a part of that. With the little input I had, I saw some of those people you had on it. Man, it was just like, so, like you said, so enlightening, and it's inspiring. And that's what's been a blessing with Natural Healing Care Center, is allowing me the opportunity to go to speak with some of these people and meet these people and go to these networking groups and listen to some, stuff that's out there that I would have never even thought of, but has proof.
It was powerful.
It has proof of results. There's proof of results with this stuff. There's documented series. There's people walking again through yoga, like people that have broken their backs that were told they'll never walk again, or walking again with yoga and riding horses. I'm like, wow, man, this stuff is amazing. So before we go, And I appreciate the time today. We normally go 30 minutes, but sometimes we go a little longer as long as the blunt goes.
Sorry.
That's okay. That me and Dr. Brown, we could talk all day, man. I love you, Dr. Brown, and we do so much work together. How can people find you? I'm going to put these links available on every platform, but where can people find you right now? Do you have a website? What's your practice name? And what's the name of the summit?
Okay, I am sorry. What's going on? That could be edited. My practice is Divine Natural Wellness, and right now I'm not currently doing a summit, but I do have 3 that you can find on my website at DNW DNWLLC. LLCAZ.com. I'm gonna give it to you because I usually have it written out because I don't always remember. I'm focused on the patients, and I'm right now. The past few months, I think since March, I've been doing my own self-health and self-discovery journey. I am transitioning in the month of September. I will be doing a self-care challenge. I have a workbook, interactive workbook in the works. I'm hoping to be able to release that starting the middle of this month. And hopefully you all join me on that as well, because just being able to dig deep and really dive in and figure out exactly who you are, figure out your purpose and how you show up in the world, and how you will impact the people in your immediate circle and across the globe. And so I have webinars coming up and everything, so I'll make sure that I share that with you for sure. But you can find me on social media. I think it's DNWLLCAZ. DNWLLCAZ.
I'll make sure to put it on the links and get you all set up, and we'll put it on the video right here too, next to us. But yeah, it was great vibing out with you. Great sharing some information. We'll definitely do this again and have some more stuff to share with people. Like I said, we could talk for days and hours, so we'll have more to share with people. Once again, this is Dr. Aiyana Brown, AIYANA BROWN. I had to learn that, how to spell that. And yeah, I appreciate you having you on. I'm going to go ahead and start signing off. And everyone, it was great session with you. Tuesday Night Smoke Sesh Round 12. Next week, we'll get back to cannabis. I know the last 2 weeks pulled off from kind of our little webinar type setting, but I wanted to get Dr. Brown on and have her share some information, which is very, very more knowledgeable and coming straight from the doctor's mouth. We will talk about CBGA, I believe, or CBDA next week.
Tune in.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that. Look forward to seeing y'all again. Love y'all and have a blessed life. Let me go ahead and get this going.
Pain, anxiety, and depression naturally.
At Natural Healing Care Center, we're here to guide you on your path to wellness.
We'll help you find natural relief through practices like meditation, yoga, medical cannabis certifications, CBD products, and more. Our premium custom rubs and tinctures are crafted from all natural, organic, full-spectrum ingredients. Check our website for more information on our products, services, and our fun in-person events.